Hey, good morning everybody. Pardon the sun over my shoulder. Let's see if I can get it better. Hey, as you can see, I'm out on my morning walk, and as you can see, I don't have the pack, and there's nothing fancy with me today. We took a trip to see the grandkids and my son and daughter-in-law. It's a fantastic trip. But they live in a mid-sized city, Midwest. Entirely too many houses. Entirely too much concrete. It's nice enough, but I could do without it all. Still gonna get my morning walk in. And I got something. This is something you guys are gonna have to commit to this one. All right, you guys are gonna have to do a little homework on this and do some research on your own on this when I'm done, because I want to share with you Making the Argument. So the Making an Argument is a podcast that Nick Freitas does, and he's a representative in the Virginia House, and him and his wife and his co-host and producer do this podcast. Well, they did one a couple of days ago that was a debate, and they were playing devil's advocate, and they were trying to use traditional debate form where you take a side, whether you agree with it fully or not, and you go with it and you defend it. And the topic was classic liberalism, in the Greek format, versus Neo-Reactionary conservatism, which is they're calling it the dissident right. Okay, so they did this, and Nick took the classic liberalism, and Christian, his co-host, took the Neo-Reactionary, and Nick's wife took neutral. She was kind of the arbitrator there, and she was just watching both sides and seeing who did the best argument. Anyway, I'm going to put the link down below. You guys, actually, the link's going to be down below, and it's also on the community page for Sunday the 28th. You guys can go watch this thing. Watch it from beginning to end, because there's so much good stuff in it. All right. But what I want to talk about are some of the points they made that just really struck a chord with me. The first one is the nature of the fight. Nick made the point that a lot of people do not understand the nature of the fight. The nature of the fight is ultimately, it's not about taxes. It's not ultimately about our civil liberties. The nature of this fight that we're in right now, politically and culturally, is the nature of reality. You can't get any more simple than that. It's a conflict of worldviews and what each side sees as a reality. And the way he put it, you guys got to go watch it. It's at about the 45-minute mark. The way he put it was just so eloquent, and it really aligned a lot of stuff for me in the fact that it is about reality. And we've reached the point in our culture and our society and politically that one side is telling the other side, this is our subjective view of the world, and you have to take it as an objective reality. That's the point we've reached in history. And that, to me, that's the ultimate form of tyranny. Seriously. And they do it in our personal lives, and they're doing it in our political lives now, because the picture that the media and the propagandists are painting of Kamala Harris right now is completely unattached from the reality of the situation. Yet we are supposed to believe it, and if we question it, we are getting censored. YouTube is hitting people for videos they're putting up about Kamala Harris. And so, yeah, it's the fight we're in is about the nature of reality. And that's a scary thought, because that's not That's not a philosophical battle. That's an existential battle. Existential, is that right? Did I pronounce that right? Existential battle. It's scary. Because whenever you reach a point where you're having that kind of argument and that type of battle, yeah, things cease to exist on many different levels. Okay, the next point, and Christian made this one. He read a post that he had posted on some forum that he's on, that he was explaining himself as a neo-reactionary. And I'm not going to pretend, I'm not going to try to give you a definition of what a neo-reactionary is, other than to say that neo-reactionaries look at the current situation and the current state of conservatism and libertarianism, and the basic gist of it is, yeah, things aren't working like you say they should, and so we need to take a different approach, and we need to take a more active and assertive approach. And I agree with him. You know, I've said it before. The answer to our problems is to not vote harder, which a lot of libertarians take that view, and so do a lot of conservatives. You know, they vote harder, it'll fix things. No, it won't. And the simple reason why voting harder doesn't work is because the left does not care. The left does not care about the Constitution. Therefore, they have no problem whatsoever ignoring it or violating it. Now, the conversation took a turn, and Tina, Nick's wife, made the argument that the left does not care about anything but power, and it doesn't respond to anything other than what gives it pain. And to a certain extent, she's right. And Nick made the counter argument that that's not the case. The case is they look at things and they see people and groups as tools to use to carve out their will. And I think he's right to an extent. But I think the average person that considers themselves a Democrat, or the average person that considers themselves a libertarian, you know, everybody that is anti-liberty. Okay, gotta stop the video right here. I was going back watching it, and I want to clarify something. Your run-of-the-mill libertarian and your run-of-the-mill liberal are not the same animal. And I unfortunately, as I was walking, I was trying to make a point, and I lumped them into the same category, and I said something that made it sound like libertarians are not concerned about personal liberties. By definition, that's not true. That is not the case. I misspoke. It was a poor choice of words, but I'm trying to make the point that big L libertarians and big C conservatives and constitutional-minded people are not the same animal. That's the point I was trying to make. And I apologize to any libertarian who I accidentally lumped into that anti-freedom category, okay? So again, I apologize, and don't shoot me for it, please. But not a far left radical, you know, of the Marxist Mao cut. I think to a certain extent they do. They do respond to pain. It's human nature. People on the right, we respond to pain just as well. The problem, or the difference, not a problem, the difference or the disconnect between the two is the fact that on the right side, the liberty-minded side, we understand who's causing that pain. On the other side, your run-of-the-mill Dem, they don't understand who's causing that pain. In fact, their view of who is causing that pain is completely inverse to reality. All right. So there was that one. And then something I disagree with. Sorry about the sun. Christian made the comment. Hold on, before we do this, check this house out, man. This is awesome. Look at that house. How beautiful is that? Man, I'd like to come up and talk to this guy and see what his thoughts are on life. All right, back to the conversation. Christian made the comment that from a neo-reactionary standpoint, the Constitution is a dead letter. And his argument was that conservatives and libertarians view the Constitution as a document that can save us. But the reality of the situation is, since the left does not respect it, and they don't care about it other than as an impediment, or in certain circumstances a way to gain power, that it doesn't matter anymore because the reality of the situation on the ground is people ignore it. So that makes it a dead letter. Okay. At the basis of the argument, I will agree. The left ignores the Constitution, or they twist it in a way that allows them to gain power. The idea that the Constitution is a dead letter is, I don't believe that. And here's the reason why. First off, the Constitution is not a dead letter because it's not alive. It's a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper with ideas on it. All right? And in order for the Constitution to be dead, that would mean that the ideas in the Constitution are living and malleable, and they're not. They say what they say. And the reason that the left is able to do what they do is because people that oppose the left don't have the guts to stand up for what the Constitution stands for. Just period. Face it, and I'm guilty of this. I'm part of that group. You know, I think in my lifetime I've done more than your average person in defense of this country and pursuit of liberty and freedom. But still, I'm guilty. We're all guilty of allowing them to do what they've done. So, as far as the neo-reactionary idea that we need to take a more active and assertive role in this, I agree 100%. Okay? And finally, this has nothing to do with the podcast that I'm talking about. Go look at it below. It's in the link below. I've also posted it in the community page. J.D. Vance. Don't know much about the guy, to be honest with you. Never really paid much attention to him. He's a Marine, hoorah. He was at a rally in Minnesota this weekend, and he responded to Kamala Harris saying that he was disloyal to the country. Whoo, boy, his response. If you guys, I'll see if I can't track down that response too and put that down in the links below. But he took umbrage to that. Surprise, surprise. And he laid it out on the line, and he threw down the gauntlet. And his response was, and this is my response to any libtard, because that's the new trend. I've seen this trend. The new trend is for libtards to tell patriots that are questioning what's going on that they're disloyal traitors to the country. They started with President Trump. They did it to J6, and now they're doing it to your average Joe that's on the street, letting his opinions be known. My response, J.D. Vance's response, and I think it's the great response, and it's my response now, is how dare you? What have you done to make you be able to question my loyalty? By comparison to my actions, what have you done? And I'm telling you right now, most of them, a vast majority of these people, that take this stance that we're disloyals and we're traitor to this country have done absolutely zero on behalf of this country, other than to try to ruin it by taking it away from its Judeo-Christian ethos and its constitutional republic. So, all right, I'm back at the house. I'm not going to show you my son's house. A little bit of OPSEC here. Hopefully I didn't ruin it by videotaping everything. But listen, guys, we got a long slog ahead of us. The election and beyond is going to be a tumultuous time, and we need to buckle down and start working hard on doing what we need to do, building community, getting food independence, working on modern self-reliance. And you know, it's the same thing over and over. Those are the answers. That's the crazy thing about the message of this channel, is the answers are the answers every single day, and nothing that happens changes the fact that these are the answers. All right, listen, you want to support the channel, like I always say, go down and check out the affiliate links, do a little shopping. Oh, excuse me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. Give us a thumbs up, like and share, do all that stuff. Most importantly, I want you guys to go out and live a life done free today. Take care.
Thanks, Milo.